Hello there folks, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you as usual, and thank you very much for coming over just to check out this very quick and easy pasta recipe. Now, I've been asked for this one so many times and I've put it off because obviously if you're coming onto YouTube to look for something like this, you'd be looking for an Italian channel, you know, something like Laura Vitale or I would, you know, that's where I would go for these types of things. But because we have this quite often for our tea, you know, so many of you have asked to see how I do it. Now, I'm not saying this is the, you know, the authentic way to do it or the proper way to do it. I'm just going to show you how I make it. It's ever so simple with very simple ingredients. It doesn't take very long at all. So I thought, why not? I'll just show you because it is absolutely delicious. You know, if you like a nice hot spicy pasta, this is for you. But you can obviously make it as hot as you like. I'm a big fan of chilli, but everybody else in the house is not the biggest fan. So I've used quite mild chilies. But if, like me, you like hot pasta, go nuts and get the super strong chilies. So let me run you through what I've got, and all of these ingredients will be in the description box underneath, and this recipe will give you enough for 4 people. So this is the pasta that I'm using. This is my favourite brand for this type of pasta. So you want to use penne pasta, or I prefer to use penne pasta with the wee sort of ridges on the sides, because that does help, you know, to hold on to your sauce. Yeah, just wonderful. So penne pasta I would recommend. And then your olive oil. Any olive oil will do really, but this is the one that I've got, so this is the one that I'm going to be using here. And then you're going to need some garlic and onions. You can use, you know, that sort of jarred garlic if you prefer. I've got some fresh garlic, so I'm just going to use a few cloves of this, and also a large onion. I'm just going to chop this very finely. You do want this chopped quite fine because you don't want a really big and chunky sauce. You're going to have some chunks from the tomatoes anyway, so just cut this down nice and finely. And then the chilies, these are the chilies that I'm using here. As you can see there, they're quite mild, but they still have a wee bit of a kick in them. But I'm going to add additional chili to this just to make it a wee bit hotter, and I'm just going to use 3 of these as well. So just chop these up. I'm going to use the seeds as well, and I'm going to use a handful of these cherry tomatoes. That's just going to give an extra bit of texture, and you know, as they burst you're going to get some extra juice as well. And then for chopped tomatoes in the can, you can use passata if you prefer, but I'm going to use these. Again, it's just for the texture. And I'm also going to add a wee bit of tomato puree. This is just going to give you a wee bit of extra richness, so just a tablespoon of that. And then I'm going to use a teaspoon of these very lazy chilies in the jar just for a wee bit of extra heat. And I'm also going to tear up a few basil leaves. These are completely optional, and I don't think these would typically, you know, be put into an arrabbiata sauce, but I like basil and tomatoes, so I'm going to put them in. And then just at the end, just for, you know, a wee bit of flavour and decoration, I'm going to put a wee bit of parmesan on the top as well. So let's go over to the cooker and I'll show you how I done this. Like I said, really easy. So you want quite a deep frying pan for this. Pop in your oil and get your pan up to a sort of medium heat. And then pop in your onions. You just want to fry these for a few minutes just to take that raw edge off. You're not looking to completely cook these, you know, you just want them nice and soft. Get them going. It'll only take you maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Pop in some salt, that will help to draw out the moisture in your onions, and also some fresh black pepper as well. And once you're happy, I'm going to pop in my tomatoes. Like I said, just a handful, maybe a dozen. 12 of these wee tomatoes. There's 4 of us, so we'll get about 3 each, I reckon. And then your garlic, I've just roughly sliced this. We do like chunky garlic, but you can of course smoosh that garlic down if you prefer it in a paste, you know, if you don't want to really detect the garlic, but we do like wee chunks of garlic. So give that another couple of minutes. Don't burn your garlic, or you know, you'll end up with a very bitter sauce. So don't overcook that. And then you can pop in your chilies. Like I said, I'm just going to chuck in the seeds and everything because these chilies are quite mild. Give that another couple of minutes. And then you'll have something that looks like this. You're basically building a paste at this point, you know, the base for your sauce. And then I'm going to pop in my teaspoon of my chilies from the jar. Like I said, this is just for a wee bit of extra heat. But if you were using really hot chilies to begin with, you probably wouldn't need this. Again, just give it a couple of minutes just to all combine and for the flavour to come out. And then I'm going to pop in my tomato puree, just give that a stir through and let that simmer for, I would say, a minute. And once you're happy, you can go in with your chopped tomatoes. Like I said, you can use passata if you prefer, but I prefer to use the chopped tomatoes or even sometimes the whole plum tomatoes in the can, just for the wee bit of extra texture in this. And I'm also going to pop in a couple of teaspoons of sugar. That's just going to help sort of counteract any bitterness that might be in there. It shouldn't be bitter, but just in case. Give that a good stir through and simmer for about a minute, just until your sugar is completely dissolved. So yeah, a couple of minutes simmering away in a very low heat. The last thing I'm going to do is add in the basil. So it's up to you how much of this you add, or leave it out completely if you don't like basil. But we like basil with tomatoes, and that's your sauce basically done. You just want to either cover that or put it on a very, very low heat just until your pasta is ready. But be sure not to cook it for too long, because it'll go very thick and very dry very quickly. So I just like to cover mine at the back there in the heat. It will keep its heat just until your pasta is ready. So this is my pasta there. You just want to boil this until it's tender. Make sure your water is well salted. And this was my sauce here. Just to the end, I popped it back on again just to get the heat back through. And then you can go ahead and drain your pasta. We like our pasta with a wee bit of a bite still in it, so not completely soft. I believe that's called al dente. You want to add your drained pasta to your sauce and just make sure it's well stirred through. And I would leave this simmering for a minute or so, just to make it extra rich and lovely. And this was amazing. And this, in my eyes, is absolutely perfect. Look how vibrant and wonderful that looks. And it's actually more red off camera. It's looking a bit darker there than it was in real life. So all you have to do now is serve. So this is what we had for our tea. So we're just going to have this simply with some garlic bread and, like I said, a wee bit of Parmesan cheese on the top and a wee bit of fresh cracked black pepper. And it really doesn't need anything else. It was absolutely delicious. Highly recommend that one. I don't know anyone that doesn't like Penne Arrabiata. Before I move on, I wanted to say, as usual, a massive thank you to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page and to the new channel members here on YouTube as well. So thank you very much for your continued support, guys. And thank you all for watching, if you're still here at this point, because I know a lot of you drop off. So I hope you did enjoy that. And if you're one of the ones that had asked to see it, hopefully you'll now go on to make it and let me know if you enjoy it. And if you do, mind and send me your pictures over on Instagram. I am What's for Tea 3 over there. There's so many of you follow me on Instagram now, so yeah, but lovely to see you over there. And I will catch up with you during the week for another wee recipe shopping haul or whatever else comes my way. So until I see you again, guys, mind to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you off soon back here on What's for Tea. So bye for now. Bye now.